multi-generational real estate company that has completed one incredible redevelopment project after another across the Northeast and beyond. Please join me in welcoming Gilbert Winn.
Thank you, Joe. So we have a little technical glitch here, so PowerPoint, but I'll look to the right here. Hi, I'm Gilbert Winn from Winn Companies. I'm very excited to be speaking here today about our Sibley project. I wanted to spend a few minutes on Winn Companies, to tell you a little bit about ourselves, as well as finish off with our plans for the building. Let's see. So, about the Winn Companies, started 40 years ago by my father. We've grown to be the 6th largest property management company in the country with over 95,000 apartments, as well as a couple million square feet of office and commercial uses. We're proud to say that in our history, we've never missed a mortgage payment, we've never defaulted on a loan, we've never missed a real estate tax payment, which I know is very important, especially on this project, as we all know. We are proud to be the largest manager of military housing, privatized military housing in the country. And, we manage the housing on base at Fort Drum. We've been in New York State for about 15 years and had an office in Rochester for over a decade. Interestingly enough, when we talk about privatized military housing, there are complexes that are actually larger than the Sibley Building, larger than the 1 million square foot building. So we are able to take on a project of this size and understand the challenges. Here's a map of the states that we operate in, 22 states. A little bit about our bread and butter. We specialize in historic renovations. We have a picture here of a complex, part of a 450,000 square foot complex in New Bedford, Massachusetts, old whaling capital of the world. This is the before picture, blown out mill building, deteriorated over years. We converted it into 150 units of housing. Here's the after photo. One of the challenges of this building was how wide it was. It was almost a square. We were able to figure out how to do housing by putting the community areas in the central corridor. So we have our fitness center, we have our computer room, we have our management office in the center corridor. This is important as we relate to a building like Sibley, which is essentially a block wide. What do you do with the interior spaces that don't have windows? You have to understand how to use those spaces for amenities, and we certainly have practice of that. I'm going to quickly go through these slides. This is a 150,000 square foot old commercial building in Fall River. We converted to 100 units of housing. The first envelope factory in the country in Worcester, Massachusetts. Before picture here, we converted to mixed income housing as well in the city, Downtown Rising. Baker Chocolate, many of you know the company Baker Chocolate. They abandoned their historic building in Dorchester, Massachusetts 20, 30 years ago. We converted this before picture into luxury housing here. Pickle Ditson, I'm going to spend 1 minute on this one. Pickle Ditson was an old pickle factory in Boston. And we were able to take, this is in deplorable condition, squatters living there, really close to downtown. We converted it into 64 units of housing, mixed income housing, and it was the first LEED Platinum historic conversion in the city of Boston into housing. Also the second in the country to achieve LEED Platinum certification after conversion into housing. So we're very proud of that, and that speaks to Winn Companies' belief in sustainability. We try to be LEED Gold, LEED Silver, LEED Platinum in all our buildings. Sibley will be no different. Quickly go through these. Malden Mills, Boot Mills, famous Boot Mills factory. We converted into 154 units of housing. You see the iconic clock tower there. Like Sibley, we chase buildings with clock towers. We think that they're iconic and they just speak to the history of the country. So I'm going to speak through a couple of these. We developed the Bostonian Hotel in Boston, right by Faneuil Hall, which is where our offices are. And One Brookline Place in Brookline, which is a mixed-use, medical office building. So let's talk about Rochester. As I mentioned, we've had an office here for 10 years. Sibley is a major focus of our team. We have full-time staff here, up here every couple of weeks. Joe Eddy is here, who's our project manager once a week. So we're focused on the Sibley Building. As we go across the country, and we look to invest in different cities and different historic redevelopments, there has to be a special reason, a pull, as to why to go to a certain city and a certain building. Rochester appealed to us 10 years ago when we opened up our development office, just because of the inherent talent, the intellectual talent, the energy, the history. There's money here, there's human capital, and there's imagination. And we knew that there was kind of untapped potential. The Sibley Building itself drew our attention because of its unique characteristics. One of the unique characteristics are the multi-uses that one can convert the building into. It used to be a department store, it used to just be an office building. We have a different vision. Our vision, as you can see here from the summary, and I'll go into later, is ground floor retail, office on floors 2 through 5, and then housing in the tower. Quickly, before we get to that development plan, I'd like to talk a little bit about what we're doing in the near future. One of the things we're doing is we're concentrating heavily on security. The mayor has led the charge to put Rochester Substation, the police station, in the first floor on Clinton Avenue. So that's going to be a huge difference in the building. It's going to be right across from the new transit center. So we'll have the best of all worlds. We'll have transportation a block away. And then we'll have a police station that controls the elements that don't use the bus but hang around bus stations. So we think we have the best of all worlds there. We've implemented a state-of-the-art security system, a $350,000 viewpoint security system. What that is high-tech cameras that have speakerphones on them that can be monitored off-site, so that people can be monitoring the building 24 hours a day and interact with the people on the ground. In addition, we've done some vertical transportation improvements. We're going to be replacing the historic elevators and escalators. We've already started on half of the escalators. And then what you're going to see in the next 6 months, you're going to see a whole new first floor, where the city meets the Sibley Building. The entire first floor on Main Street will get new windows, new awnings, flowers, signage, some work in front of the doorways, to change the feel of the building that hasn't had a lot of love put into it over the years. This is a rendering of what the lobby will look like once we're done. You can see the iconic clock, meet me under the clock. We're going to be keeping that as a focal point of the lobby entrance. Here's another rendering. Another thing we're going to be doing is creating a separate office lobby. So what we're going to do, this is a rendering of the office lobby. This is going to have its own entrance. It's going to have its own elevator bank, and it's going to be secured by glass security doors on either side. So if you're an office user, you can go right up to your office without choosing to interact with the retail or the housing components. Of course, if you live in the building, that's a pretty big commute. If you want a sandwich, you can open that security door. This is going to be a Class A office lobby, and think Bausch and Lomb, that's the standard. Here's another rendering. So again, we talked about what brought Winn Companies to the Sibley Building. A couple of unique characteristics about the building. It has 22 elevators. It has 13 separate entrances. So what you can do on a huge 1 million square foot building that's almost too big to imagine uses for, you can separate them into a housing phase with its own entrance. So I'm going to do this quickly. I know everyone can't see, but on Main Street, we're going to have a separate entrance the housing, that's going to be right there. I'm sorry, for the office, that's going to be right there. We're going to have a separate entrance and elevator core for the market rate housing. We're going to do 100 units of market rate housing. Further along Franklin Street, we're going to have, again, its own elevator core serviced by its own lobby for elderly, affordable housing. And on the opposite end, on Clinton, we're going to have its own dedicated entrance with 3 elevators for institutional use. We hope that the community college will stay as a tenant. If they don't, we'll be looking for other institutions. The thing that we believe is key about our building is with its 112,000 square foot floor plates, we can appeal to office users that want to be on the same floor. So instead of being in 4 separate floors, think about having your own entrance, your own elevator, and your entire company on one floor. I think I'm going to skip the plans for now, but I'd like to finish up by, again, talking about how excited we are to take on this iconic building. There's not a time that I come in to Rochester that somebody doesn't approach me and talk about how they went to, grab a milkshake with their father on the 6th floor, their grandfather, in the tea room, where they went shopping there, where many people work there. We intend to bring back Sibley to what it once was, and even better. Housing, retail, and office use. We're very excited about the direction of downtown. We're very excited about what Larry and Bob are doing. And we're very excited about what DT's doing and RIT next door. We think downtown is the place to be. We're here for the long haul. And I just want to thank you all for your support. And I will be seeing a lot of us. Thank you.